The Interstellar Academy Challenge. The gleaming spires of the Galactic Confederation Academy pierced the violet sky of Nexus Prime, a testament to the collaborative efforts of 1,000 species. Among the throngs of varied life forms bustling through its hallways, a solitary human stood out like a supernova in a sea of dim stars. Samantha Chen, Earth's first and only representative at the prestigious institution, strode purposefully towards her tactical analysis class. Her dark eyes glinted with determination, a stark contrast to the nervous energy emanating from her alien classmates. As she entered the lecture hall, a hush fell over the assembled students, their myriad of eyes, stalks, and sensory organs tracking her movements. Professor Zixlorth, a towering insectoid being with iridescent wings and compound eyes that seemed to capture every detail of the room simultaneously, chittered for attention. "Today, we embark on the most challenging assignment of your academic careers," he announced, his mandibles clicking with excitement. "You will be tasked with developing a comprehensive survival strategy for deployment on a Deathworld." A collective gasp rippled through the room. Deathworlds were the stuff of nightmares for most spacefaring races, planets so inhospitable that merely setting foot on their surfaces was considered a death sentence. Samantha's lips quirked into a small smile. Little did her classmates know, she hailed from one such world. "You will work in teams," Professor Zixlorth continued, analyzing environmental data, formulating risk assessments, and creating adaptive strategies to ensure survival for one full planetary rotation. His compound eyes swiveled, focusing on Samantha. "Ms. Chen, given your unique background, you will work alone on this assignment." Murmurs of confusion and disbelief echoed through the hall. Work alone on such a monumental task. It seemed impossible, yet Samantha merely nodded, her posture radiating quiet confidence. As the class dispersed into their assigned groups, Samantha found herself approached by Lyrax, a gelatinous molluscoid whose translucent body pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. "Samantha," Lyrax burbled, his speech translator struggling to convey the concern in his fluctuating tones. "Surely you cannot be expected to complete this assignment solo. The computational power required alone is staggering." Samantha offered a reassuring smile. "Don't worry about me, Lyrax. I've got a few tricks up my sleeve." She patted her friend's undulating form, careful not to disrupt his delicate surface tension. Besides, sometimes limitations breed creativity. Over the next few days, the academy buzzed with activity. Alien students huddled over holographic displays, poring over environmental data from various Deathworlds. They debated endlessly about atmospheric compositions, gravitational forces, and predator-prey dynamics that defied their comprehension. Meanwhile, Samantha worked quietly in her corner of the shared lab space. Her methods puzzled her classmates. Instead of relying solely on the advanced AI systems and predictive models favored by others, she spent hours sketching in an old-fashioned notebook, her hand flying across the pages with an almost manic energy. Zerkt, an arachnid-like Vexillion with a brilliant analytical mind, skittered over to observe Samantha's work. His optical sensors dilated in confusion as he peered at the crude drawings. "What primitive method is this?" he chittered, genuinely curious. Samantha glanced up, a smudge of graphite on her cheek. "This? Oh, it's called brainstorming. Sometimes getting ideas down quickly and messily helps spark new connections." Zerk's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of deep thought. "But where is the data? The simulations? How can you possibly account for all variables without quantum computation?" "That's the thing," Samantha replied, tapping her temple with a wry grin. "The human brain is a pretty impressive computer in its own right. Sometimes intuition and experience can fill in gaps that raw data misses." As the deadline approached, tension mounted. Teams worked around the clock, fueled by stimulants suitable for their varied physiologies. Holographic projections flickered throughout the lab, displaying nightmarish landscapes and creatures that seemed to defy the laws of nature. Amidst the frenzy, Samantha remained an island of calm. She divided her time between refining her sketches, conducting small-scale experiments with materials scavenged from the lab, and most puzzlingly to her classmates, napping. How can she sleep at a time like this? Wondered Galaxy, a crystalline being whose faceted body refracted light in dazzling patterns. Does she not understand the gravity of this assignment? Lyrax, who had been observing Samantha closely, rippled thoughtfully. Perhaps this is part of her strategy. Humans require regular periods of unconsciousness to function optimally, do they not? The day of presentation arrived, and the lecture hall thrummed with nervous energy. One by one, teams presented their strategies, backed by terabytes of data and sophisticated 3D models. Professor Zixworth nodded approvingly at each, his antennae twitching as he absorbed the intricate details. Finally, it was Samantha's turn. She stood before the class, armed with nothing but her notebook and a small bag. The room fell silent, all eyes fixed on the lone human. Esteemed colleagues, Samantha began, her voice steady and clear. I present to you my survival strategy for Deathworld XJ27, classified as a Class 12 hostile environment. She pulled out a crude contraption from her bag, a jumble of tubes, filters, and what appeared to be repurposed lab equipment. This, she announced, is a multifunctional survival tool I've dubbed the Swiss Army Straw. Confused murmurs rippled through the audience. Professor Zixworth leaned forward, his interest piqued. Samantha continued, her enthusiasm growing with each word. This device can filter toxic atmospheres, purify contaminated water, and even synthesize basic nutrients from organic matter. Its modular design allows for easy repair and adaptation to changing conditions. She proceeded to demonstrate the tool's capabilities, drinking a vial of liquid that made several of her classmates recoil in horror. What you just witnessed was the purification of a sample of XJ27's highly acidic rainwater into potable liquid. The class watched in stunned silence as Samantha unfolded her strategy. She combined ingenious low-tech solutions with a deep understanding of xenobiology and environmental adaptation. Her presentation was a masterclass in resourcefulness, showcasing how simple tools and keen observation could overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. As she concluded, the lecture hall erupted in a cacophony of excited chitters, burbles, and crystalline resonances. Professor Zixworth's wings buzzed, a rare display of emotion for the usually stoic academic. Ms. Chen, he pronounced, his mandibles quivering. You have not only succeeded in crafting a viable survival strategy, but have demonstrated the very essence of adaptation that allows life to flourish in even the harshest conditions. Your approach is unconventional, yet undeniably effective. Samantha beamed, her cheeks flushed with the thrill of success. As she returned to her seat, she found herself surrounded by classmates buzzing with questions and congratulations. Lyrax oozed closer, his bioluminescent patterns pulsing with excitement. Samantha, that was incredible. How did you come up with such innovative solutions? She shrugged, a mischievous glint in her eye. Let's just say I had some first-hand experience to draw from. After all, to a human, Earth itself might as well be a death world. As the class dispersed, animated discussions echoing through the halls, Samantha couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. She had not only succeeded in her assignment, but had opened her classmates' eyes to a new way of thinking. In that moment, she knew that her journey at the Galactic Confederation Academy was just beginning, and the best was yet to come. Human ingenuity unveiled. The buzz surrounding Samantha Chen's unorthodox presentation lingered in the halls of the Galactic Confederation Academy long after the tactical analysis class had ended. Word spread quickly through the interconnected neural networks and pheromone trails that served as the alien students' grapevine. By the time the next cycle began, Samantha found herself at the center of a maelstrom of curiosity and skepticism. As she entered the Academy's vast atrium, a space designed to accommodate beings of all shapes and sizes, Samantha was immediately surrounded by a diverse group of her peers. Zerkt, the Vexillian arachnoid, skittered forward, his optical sensors dilating with intensity. "Samantha," he chittered, mandibles clacking in excitement, "your survival strategy has sparked quite the debate among us. Many are questioning the validity of your methods. How can such primitive techniques be effective against the horrors of a death world?" Before Samantha could respond, Galaxy chimed in, their crystalline body refracting the atrium's soft light into a dazzling array of colors. "Indeed, our simulations suggest that without advanced shielding technology, survival on XJ-27 is statistically impossible. Yet you claim to achieve it with repurposed lab equipment." Samantha took a deep breath, a smile playing at the corners of her mouth. She had anticipated this reaction. After all, her approach stood in stark contrast to the tech-heavy solutions favored by most spacefaring races. "I understand your skepticism," she began, her voice calm and measured. "But sometimes the most effective solutions are born from necessity and simplicity. Let me show you." With a flourish, Samantha produced her notebook and began to sketch rapidly. Her alien classmates leaned in, their varied sensory organs straining to make sense of the quick, fluid motions of her hand. "Take this, for example," Samantha explained, holding up a drawing of what looked like a series of interconnected bubbles. "This is a basic design for an underground shelter system, inspired by prairie dog burrows on Earth. By creating a network of chambers with multiple entrances and air shafts, we can maintain a stable microclimate and protect against both predators and environmental hazards." Lyrax burbled in fascination, his gelatinous form rippling with excitement. But how would one construct such a structure without advanced excavation equipment? Samantha's eyes lit up at the question. "Excellent point, Lyrax. This is where human ingenuity really shines. We use a technique called biomimicry, learning from and emulating nature's time-tested patterns and strategies." She quickly sketched another diagram, this time showing a crude but effective digging tool. By observing the anatomy of burrowing animals and combining it with simple mechanical principles, we can create tools that work with the environment rather than against it. As Samantha continued to explain, more students gathered around, drawn by the animated discussion. Even some of the Academy's non-corporeal students, typically aloof from physical gatherings, manifested holographic avatars to observe the impromptu lesson. Professor Zixlorth, passing through the atrium, paused to listen. His compound eyes swiveled, taking in the scene with evident interest. "But surely," interjected a Quartzian student, their silicon-based body humming with skepticism, "such manual labor would be exhausting and time-consuming. How could one possibly gather enough resources to survive while expending so much energy on basic shelter?" Samantha nodded, acknowledging the valid concern. "You're absolutely right. Energy conservation is crucial in any survival situation. That's why we don't just rely on one strategy. We create synergies." She flipped to a new page in her notebook, quickly sketching out a rough diagram of an ecosystem. In nature, nothing exists in isolation. Every organism, every process is part of a larger system. By understanding these interconnections, we can make our efforts more efficient. Samantha pointed to various parts of her drawing. For instance, the waste products from our shelter digging can be used to create barriers or traps against predators. The excavated soil can be used for rudimentary agriculture. Even the act of digging itself can lead us to discover underground water sources or useful minerals. The alien students murmured amongst themselves, their varied forms of communication creating a symphony of clicks, whistles, and electromagnetic pulses. It was clear that Samantha's explanations were challenging their preconceptions about survival and resource management. Zwergt, who had been unusually quiet, suddenly spoke up. "But Samantha, how can you account for the unknown variables? Our most advanced predictive models struggle to encompass all potential scenarios on a death world." Samantha's smile widened. This was the heart of the matter, the fundamental difference between her approach and that of her classmates. "That's the beauty of it, Zwergt. We don't try to account for every variable. Instead, we focus on adaptability and problem-solving skills. She tapped her temple meaningfully. The human brain is remarkably plastic, able to form new neural connections and adapt to new situations rapidly. By honing our observational skills and maintaining a flexible mindset, we can respond to unforeseen challenges as they arise. To demonstrate, Samantha pulled out her Swiss Army straw from her bag. "Watch this," she said, quickly disassembling the device and reassembling it in a new configuration. By understanding the basic principles behind each component, we can repurpose and recombine them to meet new needs as they arise. The demonstration sent a ripple of astonishment through the gathered students. Even Professor Zixlorth's antennae quivered with what could only be described as academic excitement. "Ms. Chen," the professor interjected, his mandibles clicking rapidly, "your approach is most unconventional. Yet I cannot deny its potential effectiveness. Perhaps there is more to learn from Deathworld species than we initially believed." Samantha nodded respectfully to her teacher. "Thank you, Professor. I believe that's the key. Being open to learning from all sources, even those we might initially dismiss as primitive or irrelevant." As the impromptu gathering began to disperse, students chattering excitedly among themselves, Lyrax oozed closer to Samantha. "You've given us much to think about, Samantha. But I can't help wondering, is this truly how all humans approach problem solving? It seems so intuitive, yet structured." Samantha chuckled, running a hand through her hair. "Not all humans, no. But it's a mindset that's been crucial to our survival and evolution. We call it thinking outside the box, approaching problems from new angles and challenging established assumptions." She paused, her expression becoming more serious. "You know, back on Earth, we have a saying, 'Necessity is the mother of invention.' Living on a death world, as you call it, has forced us to be creative, to push the boundaries of what's possible. It's not always easy, but it's led to some of our greatest achievements." As Samantha gathered her things to head to her next class, she couldn't help but feel a sense of accomplishment. She had done more than just defend her survival strategy. She had opened her classmates' eyes to a new way of thinking, a new approach to facing the unknown. The challenges of the Galactic Confederation Academy were far from over, but Samantha Chen, representative of humanity, was ready to face them head-on. With each explanation, each demonstration of human ingenuity, she was not just surviving in this interstellar academic setting. She was thriving, and in doing so, showcasing the unique strengths that humanity could bring to the galactic community. Alien perspectives and cultural clashes. As the academic cycle progressed, the ripples caused by Samantha Chen's unorthodox approach to problem-solving spread throughout the Galactic Confederation Academy. What had begun as skepticism and confusion among her alien classmates was slowly transforming into a mix of curiosity and, in some cases, grudging admiration. However, this shift in perspective didn't come without its fair share of cultural clashes and misunderstandings. One particularly tense incident occurred during the Academy's annual Xenobiology Symposium. The grand auditorium was packed with students and faculty from across the galaxy, its adaptive seating accommodating everything from gas-based life forms to silicon crystalline entities. Samantha sat near the front, her eyes wide with wonder as she absorbed the vast array of biological diversity on display. The symposium's keynote speaker, Dr. Zorlak of the Hive Collective, was expounding on the superiority of eusocial species in colonizing hostile environments. His multifaceted eyes gleamed as he gestured to a series of holographic projections showcasing the intricate tunnel systems and coordinated behaviors of his species. "As you can clearly see," Dr. Zorlak buzzed, his translator struggling to keep up with his rapid-fire delivery, "the key to conquering death worlds lies in perfect coordination and self-sacrifice for the greater good of the colony. Individual survival is irrelevant in the face of collective prosperity." Samantha felt a growing discomfort as she listened. While she could appreciate the efficiency of the Hive Collective's approach, something about it struck her as fundamentally at odds with human nature. Unable to contain herself any longer, she raised her hand. Dr. Zorlak's antenna twitched in surprise. It was rare for students to interrupt during a keynote presentation. Nevertheless, he nodded in Samantha's direction. Yes, the human representative has a question. Samantha stood, acutely aware of the thousands of alien eyes focused on her. Thank you, Dr. Zorlak. I appreciate your insights, but I can't help but wonder if there's an inherent flaw in applying a one-size-fits-all approach to Deathworld survival. Couldn't the diversity of individual problem-solving skills actually be an advantage in unpredictable environments? A collective gasp rippled through the auditorium. Dr. Zorlak's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of agitation. Young human, you clearly misunderstand the power of unity. How can a chaotic assortment of individuals hope to match the efficiency of a perfectly coordinated collective? Samantha took a deep breath, steeling herself. With all due respect, Doctor, it's not about matching efficiency in a controlled environment. It's about adaptability in chaos. Human history is full of examples where individual creativity and initiative have led to survival in the harshest conditions. She quickly pulled out her ever-present notebook, sketching as she spoke. Take, for example, the polar expeditions of Earth's early explorers, small teams venturing into one of our planet's deadliest environments, each member bringing unique skills and perspectives to overcome unforeseen challenges. As Samantha's impromptu lecture continued, the audience's reaction was mixed. Some, like Lyrax and Zurich, leaned forward in fascination. Others, particularly members of hive-based species, buzzed with clear disapproval. Dr. Zorlak's exoskeleton flushed a deep purple, a sign of extreme agitation in his species. This is preposterous. Are you suggesting that your primitive individualistic approach is superior to millions of years of evolutionary perfection? Samantha shook her head, trying to calm the situation. Not superior, Doctor. Different. And in the face of the unknown, couldn't different approaches be valuable? The galaxy is vast and full of surprises. Shouldn't we be open to multiple strategies for survival and exploration? The auditorium erupted into a cacophony of debate. Insectoid students clicked and buzzed in heated disagreement, while others chimed in with supportive chirps and whistles. The symposium organizers frantically tried to restore order, their tentacles waving in distress. In the midst of the chaos, Professor Zixlorth made his way to the stage. His wings vibrated in a pattern that instantly commanded attention, slowly quieting the uproar. Esteemed colleagues, he began, his compound eyes sweeping the room. While this interruption was unexpected, it has raised some intriguing points for discussion. Perhaps we have been too quick to dismiss alternative approaches to survival and adaptation. He turned to Samantha, his antennae twitching thoughtfully. Ms. Chen, would you be willing to elaborate on your perspective in a more structured format? Say, a presentation to the Xenobiology department next cycle. Samantha nodded, a mix of excitement and nervousness fluttering in her stomach. I'd be honored, Professor. As the symposium gradually returned to its scheduled programming, Samantha found herself surrounded by a mix of curious and hostile classmates. Lyrax oozed closer, his gelatinous form rippling with concern. Samantha, he burbled, that was quite bold. Are you not worried about the potential repercussions? Dr. Zorlak is a highly respected figure in the academic community. Samantha sighed, running a hand through her hair. I know, Lyrax, but if we're truly here to learn and grow, we need to be willing to challenge our assumptions, even if it makes us uncomfortable. Jerk skittered up, his mandibles clicking rapidly. I must admit, your arguments were surprisingly logical. But how do you reconcile individual achievement with the need for societal progress? Surely there must be a balance. Samantha smiled, grateful for her friend's open-mindedness. That's exactly it, Zurich. It's all about finding the right balance. Human societies have struggled with this for millennia. We're still figuring it out, to be honest. As they made their way out of the auditorium, Samantha couldn't help but overhear snippets of conversation from her alien classmates. Some were intrigued by her ideas, eager to learn more about human adaptability. Others dismissed her as a troublemaker, clinging to their established beliefs about survival and success. One voice, however, cut through the chatter. Galaxy, the crystalline being, approached Samantha with an odd resonance to their structure, a sign of deep thought in their species. Samantha Chen, they chimed, their facets refracting light in complex patterns. Your words have introduced an impurity to our collective understanding. It is unsettling, yet strangely compelling. I find my thought processes adapting, restructuring. Is this how human ideas spread? Samantha couldn't help but laugh, the tension of the earlier confrontation finally easing. In a way, yes. We call it food for thought. Ideas that challenge us, make us reconsider our perspectives. It's not always comfortable, but it's how we grow. As they parted ways, each heading to their respective habitats for the rest cycle, Samantha felt a renewed sense of purpose. She had come to the Galactic Confederation Academy to learn, yes, but also to share, to show the galaxy that humanity, for all its flaws and quirks, had something unique to offer. The road ahead would not be easy. She had ruffled some feathers, or scales, or exoskeletons, today. But as she reviewed her notes for the upcoming presentation, Samantha Chen felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. After all, adaptability was the key to survival, whether on a death world or in the complex ecosystem of intergalactic academia. The final test approaches. The cycles following the Xenobiology Symposium were a whirlwind of activity for Samantha Chen. Her impromptu challenge to Dr. Zorlak's theories had catapulted her into the spotlight of the Galactic Confederation Academy's academic community. Some hailed her as a revolutionary thinker, while others dismissed her as a troublemaking upstart. Regardless of their stance, it seemed everyone had an opinion on the lone human student. Samantha's presentation to the Xenobiology department had been a resounding success, sparking heated debates that spilled over into other disciplines. The academy was abuzz with discussions about the merits of individualism versus collective action, the role of creativity in survival, and the potential benefits of studying primitive species problem-solving techniques. As fascinating as these philosophical debates were, they were soon overshadowed by the announcement of the Academy's most dreaded challenge, the Omega simulation. Professor Zixlorth's voice echoed through the grand lecture hall, his wings vibrating with barely contained excitement. Students, the time has come for you to face the ultimate test of your abilities. The Omega simulation is designed to push you beyond your limits, to challenge everything you've learned about survival and adaptation. A tense silence fell over the assembled students. Even the normally chatty Lyrax was uncharacteristically still, his gelatinous form barely rippling. You will be divided into teams, the professor continued, his compound eyes sweeping the room. Each team will face a unique, procedurally generated Deathworld scenario. Your objective is simple: survive for the equivalent of one standard solar cycle. Murmurs of anxiety rippled through the crowd. Samantha felt a mix of excitement and apprehension building in her chest. This was what she had been preparing for all along. However, Professor Zixlorth added, his mandibles clicking for emphasis, in light of recent discussions, we've decided to add a twist to this cycle's simulation. The students leaned forward, their varied sensory organs straining to catch every word. Each team will be required to incorporate survival strategies from at least 3 different species represented at this academy. The goal is to create a synergistic approach that leverages diverse problem-solving methods. A chorus of surprised clicks, whistles, and electromagnetic pulses filled the air. Samantha couldn't help but smile. It seemed her arguments for diversity in problem-solving had made more of an impact than she'd realized. As the professor began announcing team assignments, Samantha found herself grouped with an eclectic mix of classmates. Zurich, the analytical Vexillian; Galaxy, the crystalline thinker; and to her surprise, Kavax, a member of the Hive Collective who had been one of her most vocal critics since the symposium. Kivak's antennae twitched with obvious displeasure as he approached the group. "Let it be known," he buzzed, his translator struggling to convey the complex harmonics of his speech, "that I protest this assignment. The inclusion of individualistic elements will only hinder our efficiency." Samantha took a deep breath, reminding herself to stay diplomatic. "I understand your concerns, Kivak. But isn't that the point of this exercise? To learn from each other and create something greater than the sum of its parts." Zerk's optical sensors dilated in what Samantha had come to recognize as his equivalent of a thoughtful expression. The human has a point. Logically, a diverse approach should increase our probability of success in an unknown scenario. Galaxy chimed in, their crystalline structure resonating with a harmonious tone. "Indeed, the impurities of diverse thought may well be the catalyst for a more perfect solution." Kivak's exoskeleton flushed a deep purple, but he said nothing more. It was clear that the Hive collective member was outnumbered, at least for now. As the team began their preparations for the Omega simulation, Samantha couldn't help but marvel at the strange twists of fate that had brought her to this moment. Here she was, a human from Earth, working alongside beings she could have scarcely imagined just a few years ago. The days that followed were a frenzy of activity. The team pored over survival manuals from a dozen different worlds, debated the merits of various technologies, and ran countless simulations of their own. Samantha's notebook filled up with sketches and diagrams, a visual representation of the melding of alien minds. Kivak, despite his initial reluctance, proved to be an invaluable member of the team. His ability to process vast amounts of data and coordinate complex tasks was unmatched. Zerk's analytical mind complemented Samantha's creative problem-solving, while Galaxy's unique perspective often led to breakthrough moments when the group hit a mental roadblock. As the day of the Omega simulation drew near, Samantha found herself in the Academy's Arboretum, seeking a moment of quiet reflection. The carefully maintained ecosystem, designed to accommodate plant life from across the galaxy, reminded her of the botanical gardens back on Earth. "You seem troubled, Samantha Chen," a familiar voice chimed. Galaxy emerged from behind a luminescent tree, their crystalline form refracting the soft light into a dazzling array of colors. Samantha sighed, offering a small smile to her teammate. "Just nervous, I guess. There's so much riding on this simulation. Not just for us, but, well, for humanity's reputation in the galactic community." Galaxy's structure resonated with a soothing harmonic. "Your species' drive to prove itself is admirable, if somewhat perplexing. Has it occurred to you that perhaps you have already made a significant impact, regardless of the simulation's outcome?" Samantha blinked, surprised by the insight. "What do you mean?" "Consider the changes we have witnessed in recent cycles," Galaxy explained. "The debates you have sparked, the new avenues of research being explored. Even those who disagree with your methods cannot deny that you have introduced a valuable element of disruption to our collective thinking." As Samantha pondered Galaxy's words, she felt a sense of calm settling over her. Whatever the outcome of the Omega simulation, she had already achieved something meaningful. She had opened doors, challenged assumptions, and paved the way for greater understanding between species. "Thank you, Galaxy," Samantha said, her voice filled with genuine gratitude. "You're right. Whatever happens tomorrow, we've already made a difference." As they made their way back to the team's preparation area, Samantha's mind was already racing with new ideas. The Omega simulation would be the ultimate test of everything she had learned, both about alien cultures and about herself. But more than that, it was an opportunity to showcase the true strength of humanity. The ability to adapt, to collaborate, and to find hope even in the darkest of circumstances. With renewed determination, Samantha rejoined her teammates. As they made their final preparations, she couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. They were more than just a collection of individuals now. They were a team, ready to face whatever challenges the simulation could throw at them. As the lights dimmed for the rest cycle, Samantha closed her eyes, her mind filled with images of alien worlds and the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. Tomorrow would bring the greatest challenge of her academic career, but she was ready. Ready to prove that humanity, with all its flaws and strengths, had earned its place among the stars. Triumph of the human spirit. The day of the Omega simulation dawned with an air of electric anticipation. The Galactic Confederation Academy's simulation chamber, a marvel of holographic technology and sensory manipulation, loomed before Samantha and her team like a monolithic challenge. Professor Zixlorth's mandibles clicked rapidly as he addressed the assembled students. Remember, your objective is survival. The environments you face will be harsh, unpredictable, and utterly unforgiving. Good luck to you all. As Samantha, Zerk, Galaxy, and Kavax stepped into their designated simulation pod, a shimmering field of energy enveloped them. The world around them flickered and transformed, resolving into a nightmarish landscape that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Twin suns beat down mercilessly on a terrain of sharp, crystalline formations. The air shimmered with heat and corrosive particles, while in the distance, ominous storm clouds roiled with flashes of what looked unsettlingly like electrical discharges. Well, Samantha breathed, her voice tight with a mixture of awe and trepidation. They certainly didn't pull any punches with this one. Kavax's antennae twitched nervously. This environment exceeds the parameters of any known death world. The collective's databanks have no record of such extreme conditions. Zerk's optical sensors dilated rapidly, processing the surroundings. Agreed. The combination of high radiation, corrosive atmosphere, and unstable tectonic activity presents a survival probability of less than 0.03%. For a moment, the team stood in stunned silence, the magnitude of their challenge sinking in. Then, to everyone's surprise, Samantha laughed. Guys, don't you see? This is exactly why we're here. They've given us an impossible scenario because they want to see how we'll adapt. Galaxy's crystalline structure vibrated with what might have been excitement. An intriguing perspective, Samantha. You suggest we view this not as an insurmountable obstacle, but as an opportunity for innovation. Exactly. Samantha grinned, already pulling out her trusty notebook. Okay, let's break this down. What are our immediate threats, and what resources do we have? As the team huddled together, bouncing ideas off each other, a remarkable transformation began to take place. Kuvax's initial skepticism gave way to grudging respect as he witnessed firsthand the power of diverse perspectives working in harmony. Samantha's quick sketches and out-of-the-box thinking provided the framework for their survival strategy. Zerk's analytical mind refined and optimized each idea, while Galaxy's unique crystalline perception offered insights into the strange environment that the others might have missed. Even Kavax found his niche, his hive-mind multitasking abilities proving invaluable in coordinating their efforts and processing vast amounts of environmental data. As the simulated days passed, the team faced challenge after challenge. They built shelters from the crystalline formations, using Galaxy's understanding of lattice structures to create a habitat that could withstand the planet's frequent seismic activity. Zerk devised a filtration system that could extract breathable air and potable water from the corrosive atmosphere, while Kivax's collective consciousness allowed them to maintain constant vigilance against the planet's numerous predatory life forms. Samantha's human ingenuity shone brightest in moments of crisis. When a particularly violent storm threatened to destroy their shelter, she quickly repurposed their equipment to create a magnetic field generator, using the planet's own electromagnetic properties to shield them from the worst of the tempest. As they approached the halfway point of their simulated solar cycle, Professor Zixlorth's voice echoed through the chamber, heavy with astonishment. Attention, Team Chen. Your performance thus far has been unprecedented. You've not only survived but thrived in conditions we believe to be unsurvivable. The Academy Oversight Committee has decided to increase the difficulty. The world around them shimmered, the already harsh conditions worsening dramatically. The twin suns flared, bathing the landscape in lethal radiation. The ground beneath their feet began to split and crack, revealing rivers of molten metal. For a moment, despair threatened to overwhelm the team. But Samantha, her eyes blazing with determination, rallied her companions. "Come on, guys. We've made it this far. We can do this." What followed was a testament to the power of cooperation and adaptability. The team worked tirelessly, combining their unique strengths in ways they never thought possible. Kivak's hive mind coordination melded seamlessly with Samantha's creative problem-solving. Zerk's analytical predictions complemented Galaxy's intuitive understanding of their crystalline environment. As the final hours of the simulation ticked away, the team huddled in their makeshift shelter, battered but unbroken. They had faced impossible odds and emerged victorious, not through overwhelming strength or advanced technology, but through cooperation, creativity, and sheer determination. The simulation faded away, revealing the awestruck faces of their classmates and professors. Professor Zixlort's wings buzzed with barely contained excitement as he approached the team. "In all my cycles of overseeing the Omega simulation, I have never witnessed such an extraordinary performance," he chittered, his compound eyes swiveling to take in each team member. "You have not only survived, but have rewritten our understanding of what is possible in extreme environments." As the team basked in their success, Samantha felt a tugging on her sleeve. She turned to find Kivak, his exoskeleton flushed with a color she had never seen before. "Samantha Chen," he buzzed, his translator struggling to convey the complex emotions in his voice. "We, the collective, owes you an apology. We underestimated the value of individual creativity and adaptability. Your species, you have much to teach us." Samantha smiled, extending her hand in a gesture of friendship. "And we have much to learn from you, Kivak. That's the beauty of it. We're stronger together, each bringing our unique strengths to the table." As news of their achievements spread through the academy, Samantha found herself at the center of attention once again. But this time, the whispers and stares were filled with admiration and respect. Lyrax oozed up to her, his gelatinous form rippling with excitement. "Samantha, you've done it. You've shown the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of." Samantha shook her head, smiling. "No, Lyrax. We've shown the galaxy what we're all capable of when we work together. This wasn't just a human victory. It was a victory for cooperation, for diversity of thought, for the idea that we can achieve more together than we ever could alone." As the celebration continued around her, Samantha took a moment to reflect on her journey. She had come to the Galactic Confederation Academy as an outsider, the sole representative of a species many considered primitive and unremarkable. Now she stood as a symbol of the unique strengths humanity could bring to the galactic community. The challenges ahead were still immense. There would be more battles to fight, more prejudices to overcome. But as Samantha looked around at her alien classmates, no, her friends, she knew that the future was bright. Humanity had taken its first true steps into the galactic community, not with force or advanced technology, but with creativity, adaptability, and an unwavering spirit of cooperation. As the twin suns set on another day of the academy, Samantha Chen, representative of Earth, stood tall, ready to face whatever the universe had in store. The greatest adventure, she realized, was just beginning.